What's going on, bro? Today I just want to share with you a mental tool that I use that has helped me a lot. It's a tool to be used in times that are less than ideal. You might be a backup right now, or you might be going through an injury or something where the situation just feels like it kind of sucks right now. The name of this tool, I came up with this, I call it temporal alchemy. Temporal alchemy. So what does that mean? The word temporal relates to time, and the word alchemy relates to changing something or manipulating something. So basically, you need to understand that in life and with time, things are always changing. Time is always moving, right? And I think the problem that we have as humans is that we tend to see things as very static, as never changing. And we can feel like while we're in a moment that it's always going to be that way. So if you're a backup, you might feel like you're always going to be a backup. Or if you're injured, it feels like, oh, I'm going to be injured forever. But you need to realize that what you're going through right now is just a temporary thing. And that there's going to be some time in the future where that's no longer the thing. And the funny thing about time is that whenever we're in a moment, we are entirely in that moment. So when I was 18 years ago, I was fully in that moment of being an 18-year-old. But now I'm 25 and I'm fully in the moment here. Like being 18, while it once was my life and while I was fully in it, is now just a memory and a thing of the past. And who I am right now as a 25-year-old, it's going to be the same way in the future. I'm going to look back at right now like, oh, there was once a time when I was 25. And that just goes to show that time is just forever changing. And this moment is forever changing. So when that relates to you, you need to realize that whatever you're going through right now is just a temporary thing. And everything that you're doing right now is leading you to be ready for those moments when you are no longer injured, or you do get an opportunity to play and step on the field and help your team. One story and person who tells this very well that I like to listen to, his name is Jocko Willink. He's a former Navy SEAL. And basically, he talks about how he wakes up at 4:30 every single day, no matter what, even though he's out of the Navy. And when someone asks him, why do you still wake up at 4:30 a.m.? He says that he wants to wake up early so he gets that psychological win over the enemy. And so basically he talks about how there's still a part of him, even though he's retired now, there's still a part of him that thinks about how there's a guy and he's in a cave somewhere and he's rocking back and forth. And he's got a machine gun in one hand and a grenade in the other hand. And he knows that one day he's going to meet this guy. They're going to come face to face in battle. And he asks himself a question. He says, what can I do to be ready for that moment, which is coming? What can I do to be ready for that moment, which is coming? So he knows that his moment is coming. He knows that one day the two are going to meet. And everything that he's doing right now, that preparation is what's going to make him ready for when that moment comes. So for you right now, again, you might be backup, you might be injured or whatever it is, but you need to realize that, again, it's a temporary thing and that your moment is coming. And everything that you're doing right now is preparing you to make the most of that moment. For me, you might have heard my story before, but I played one game between my freshman and sophomore years in college. And then my junior and senior years, I played almost every single game, and I was a starter and had some success. But I didn't start around 50-something games my freshman and sophomore years. My junior year, the very first game that I started, the very first game of the year, no one was asking me why I didn't play all those games my freshman and sophomore years. They weren't asking me any of that. They were just asking me how ready I was on that day to be ready and do the job for my team on that day. So I went through so many days where I did not play a game. I dressed up for my team and didn't contribute anything my freshman and sophomore years. But while it was painful, while it wasn't fun, I was still building and being ready for that moment my junior year. So basically, if I could have this perspective as a freshman or sophomore in college and gave myself the perspective that, hey, there's going to be a day when you're a starter. There's going to be a day when you have to step up for your team. And that all the time that I invested into myself, into my mindset, into my skill set was all going to determine what happened on that day. My junior year, I would have had such a better perspective. I would have worked harder or trained harder, prepared more because I knew that moment was coming. So what I want you to understand right now is that your moment is coming. It is coming. No matter what you think or what you believe, you're going to get a moment where you do get an opportunity or you are no longer injured. And you need to make sure that what you are doing today is getting you ready for that moment. So you have opportunities today that you might not even be aware of. And you need to make sure that every single thing you do today is getting you ready for that moment. So you need to take pride in every single thing that you do today. So if you are a backup, make sure that the service that you give your other goalkeepers is impeccable. When you step in and you get reps, you're as clean and intense and everything as possible. And when people are shooting on you, you're saving every shot. If you're injured, you need to make sure that you have a plan and you're executing your rehab plan, whatever it is, to a T with the most precise detail, with the best intent possible. And by doing these things today and making the most of today is getting you ready for those moments in the future. So I hope you can use this tool. Again, it's called temporal alchemy. Remember that today is fleeting. Today is not always going to be forever. And there's going to be a moment in the future that you're fully going to be in that moment. You're not going to remember today. You're not going to remember all the negative feelings today or whatever it was. And you're going to have an opportunity. And the crazy thing about this is that you never know when that moment is going to come, right? And that's why we have to make the most of today and be ready for that moment whenever it is and make the most of every single opportunity today. But I hope you can realize that today is temporary. What you're going through right now is temporary and you're going to get an opportunity. And I hope you can burn that line from Jocko in your head that says, and you ask yourself this every single day, what can I do to be ready for that moment which is coming? Okay? So I will put the audio of Jocko saying that in the description. You can go check him out. Check out that little snippet. I think it's super powerful. But if you leave here with nothing else other than the line, what can I do to be ready for that moment which is coming? Super crucial. Continue to prepare. Continue to believe in yourself. Continue to invest in yourself. And know your moment is coming. No matter what you're going through today, and everything that you do today is preparing you for that moment and leading you for what that moment is what's gonna happen in that moment. So continue to work. I believe in you. Keep doing your thing. Be ready, and we'll talk soon.